Okay, we've had some very fascinating characters on the Break It Down show in 2,000 episodes. We've had a whole lot of fun. But man, have we got a doozy for you today. We are with Guy Crims, who is the purveyor of the Butcher Shop by Niku Steakhouse in San Francisco. And that hallowed place has the distinction that I will give it of the most magnificent butcher shop that there is, for a number of reasons. First of all, it is a curated collection of cuts of meat that are absolutely world class, and the biggest reason is because Guy is an artist, and he is an artist in a way that I definitely want to capture and communicate for our viewers today. And I also want to give a little bit of an education, Guy, if you'll help me, on what makes these cuts of meat so special and how you arrived at your process for selecting and for how you cut them and how you prepare them. And
Absolutely.
And then I want to point out for our viewers that this butcher shop not only is a curated collection of the most magnificent cuts of meat, but also the memorabilia that's around here really speaks to a very eclectic kind of artist, as I know you are, because there are things around here that speak to your personality, certificates of appreciation from people you've thrown parties for. You just showed me a signed Beach Boys album by Mike Love because you threw a party for his son. And, you know, of course, there's lightsabers and Godzillas and stuff around here too. So
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
It's fun. I'm going to ask you first, by way of introduction, I want to let our viewers know that you've been in the butchering business since you were 14 years old.
Yes, sir, since 1984.
Wow. Tell us how that happened.
Well, I read a very famous book, The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. And that was Louis Luttrell's class, English professor, Terranova High School in Pacifica. And I did very well on that paper. And I went down to a little local butcher shop by my house and asked if they had a job or any job openings. And
for a 14-year-old?
Yeah, for a 14-year-old kid. And the old man, Bob Ruggiero, he put a broom in my hand, and kind of the rest is history, you know. Started working at that small shop and did butchery through high school and college. And I took that and just kind of kept running with it. So this has been my vocation, my career, everything I love to do. I am formally trained as an architect, but I really enjoyed the butchery and that visceral nature of things that I was lacking in architecture. Architecture is a very static, very impressive, incredible way to formulate ideas and motion and emotion. But once it's set, it never changes. Not to be cliche, but set in stone, it never changes. It's occupied, it's invigorated with the people that go through, but the interaction between the thing and the people using it. I can express myself more in the butcher shop with a transient paint. This is my palette. So travel all over the world, you know, sourcing these goods, and that's how I express myself on a daily basis. And to go back to that, you know, beginning of the inspiration, I knew it was my calling. You know, when I did it, I was inspired as a child by, you know, a young person, you know, 14-year-old teenager, but still a child. I'm still a child. I haven't figured that out yet, obviously. But anyway, you know, those initial notions of you know, meat, sustenance, Mother Nature, and we're going to get into it a little bit later because it's conversations definitely, and I want you to pound me with some good questions. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot of unpacking to do. You know, and I don't want to get too far down the road.
Well, I want to start the unpacking because while we were setting up, just in the brief time that we've been here in the butcher shop, I got to witness your interaction with Chef Allen, who was here with you.
Yes.
And you guys really were just closing up the shop to get ready for this. But You know, you addressed him as little brother. He addressed you as big brother.
Yes.
You clearly have a familial and loving relationship. And I can relate to that because, you know, when you play music, you create with somebody and it makes you very close. You
Yes.
bond with the people you work with. And clearly that is the environment that you've created here.
You know, just to say that, I was just having this discussion maybe 4 or 5 days ago. And I was talking with the team, talking with little brother, Chef Alan, Chef Mateo, and one of our newest team members, Chef Mac McKenzie. And I said, we were missing something in the band, you know? And I said, Chef Mac, and she looks at me, I said, we were missing you know, just the three of us wasn't enough. You know, there's some power trios out there. There's the Cream, there's the Jimi Hendrix Experience, you know what I mean? But we're not at all that, you know, we're a ragtag team of, you know, I'm a butcher, they're chefs, formally trained, some informally trained. And, but we were missing that last beat, that last note. And it was really nice the other day, you know, when you look around and you're like, what feels right this minute? What feels right? And I just address it in the moment, you know, as I think as a good artist should, or as a good mentor should, or as a good band leader should, you know. And you've seen those images where you know, Miles Davis just like looks over and he's like totally blown away that somebody is playing that note 3 octaves off, and he's going berserk inside his brain. But he's the only person who actually knows it's happening. We were talking about Herbie Hancock earlier.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen when he's banging away there at the piano and he's getting looks back and forth, and he's a genius, you know? So thing about it is that when it comes to music, if the band's not tight, you're not making music.
Right.
And that's, you know, I don't want to sound esoteric or a little too, you know, heady or cocky or anything like that, but that's what we do here. And we want that to be a seamless song for our guests. And, you know, as you were saying a little bit earlier with session drumming and playing the sax and other instruments and, you know, people that come in and come out and do amazing work, it's different every day. It's different every night. Yeah, we have a baseline, right? We have the same program that we're going to run, but it's always going to change. People are going to change. And, you know, that's why I said that the impermanence of the product. The meat goes out every single day.
Yeah.
It changes. The paint changes. The sculpture changes. The animals are different. They cut differently. They behave differently, you know, with under your knife. And to have the ability to focus and cut properly and serve the guest and talk to the guests and your teammates, your bandmates, and make sure everything's playing seamlessly, that's where the guest experience becomes enriched. It becomes more than walking into a store. We also do burgers and fries here, you know, to go Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 4. We want all that interaction, and we want the crowd to be pleased, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not happy with the music, and sometimes we have to change our tune, you know, because maybe we're like the Davies brothers in the back. You know what I'm talking about too. You know what I mean, right? So we have to temper that in front of the guests. This is the first time I've talked about music in relationship to this shop at all.
It's perfect.
But I am a big fan of music. Music's informed my entire life. You know, I was raised with you can only imagine. You can look on the walls. You know, I was born in 1970. You know, you can only imagine what my parents were playing, you know, at their house. Everything from Beethoven to Jimi Hendrix to Cream to, you know, Herb Albert to, I mean, you just go on and on. The Carpenters, the Mamas and the Papas, you know, Simon and Garfunkel, Iron Butterfly, Led Zeppelin, you know, Blue Cheer, Pink Floyd. I mean, I could go on and on. That's what I was cutting my teeth on, you know. And my mom played piano beautifully, and it was always a joy to listen to her play, you know. She's gotten away from that a long time ago, but it was always nice to see her to do that. And she enriched our lives, mom and dad both, with music. So there was always that innate, I think we all have that magic in us, music. And I wasn't gifted with music, but I was gifted with other things, you know, and that was drawing, art, and then, you know, how to translate eventually into something like this, where I get to actually draw and paint and sculpt every day. And people get to come into that gallery, and they get to come in and choose the experience they want, choose what they're looking for. And if it's not there, we'll paint that picture for them right there on the spot.
Yeah.
And if we can't paint it today, we'll paint it tomorrow. You know, if they put a special request in or something, we can do it.
And if you paint it today and tomorrow, it's different each day.
It's every day is different, you know,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. You know, it's so, you know, there's a lot of those words that are, you know, kind of cliche, but it is very raw and very, very visceral, you know, and it can be edgy at times. And some people don't comprehend what we're doing here, because when they walk in the door and they see the cases and the juxtaposition with all of these cultural icons, you know, in terms of things that influenced me as a child, Godzilla, Muhammad Ali, you know, Captain America from Easy Rider, Bruce Lee, you know, we could just go on and on and on with everything in here, and Star Wars. I mean, these were things that have a relationship to culture, but there's also a lot of philosophy behind those things. You know, Star Wars, as you know, it's Joseph Campbell. You know, the way, you know, if it wasn't for Joseph
Hero's
Campbell,
Journey.
Exactly, we wouldn't have Star Wars, period. If we didn't have Kurosawa,
If it weren't for Kurosawa,
if we wouldn't have Star Wars, you know. So these are the things that I'm a little more subversive with in the shop. And the people like you that come in, and we, as we talked about, you know, we can touch it. Some people can put their hands on it, you know. So you and I, we see each other, right? And we've touched it. We know. And when you start digging a little bit deeper, not intentionally, but sometimes with the company you keep, those things come, as you said earlier, that it comes to you, the energy comes naturally, right? Sometimes you don't know why. And it's best not to question.
Sometimes you don't ask.
You just don't ask. You got to kind of go, like tonight, when I'm driving home tonight, and we're all done, and I'm going to be like, why did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Thanks to Teresa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yes, thank you, Teresa. Very sweet individual and very exciting and energetic person. Got to do a really cool function with her not too long ago and got to meet some really cool people. So I thank her a lot for opening this door for me as well. So very much so. Thank you.
I definitely want to get back to your team, but before I go there, I think it's important to give our viewers a bit of an education about how you source meat. And so I want to start right with your trips to Japan.
Sure. Sounds good. Well, we'll jump in with that, and I'll make the kind of the interlude there, you know, stick is that it's all about the love, care, and respect for the animal, the land, and then the farmer, and how they translate, and their families translate those farming practices into the future. So over the years, I've found certain purveyors say certain things, certain farmers say certain things, certain farmers don't do certain things that they promise. And that's no fault to their own, other than the fact that they're not holding to their own beliefs. You know, in business, we all have to kind of move and dodge a little bit to operate. I'm not saying it's a perfect world out there, but I do my level best to go out and find some of the best farmers, and the best, and definitely the best importers and exporters that I could find. And on those trips to Japan is where I started really getting involved in going to these farms and starting to understand and actually learn about a very special way of raising protein. And
this way of raising protein that has made Kobe beef famous started hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, about 120, 150 years ago.
150 years ago.
Yep.
So how is it that process evolved, and what was different 120 years ago in, say, Texas?
Sure. So that's a really good question. So in Texas, we'll start in Texas. You know, a lot of cattle were driven out of Mexico, right into Texas, and they were just eating chaparral on the range, grasses, you know, all the different, you know, basically grass-fed product all the way across, and they were just driving them to Chicago, to stockyards, which we're talking about with
Eating whatever they ate along the way.
They ate along the way. You know, of course they wanted to fatten them up on grass, and you know it's key to have water, right? But those grades of beef, in terms of where they were starting to grain feed, that's when people started to realize, oh, you know, Sam the steer was over there eating the corn, or was doing this or this type of silage. And what ended up happening is they said, oh, when they cut into him, they said, oh, this guy's definitely doing something a little special here. And that's where that beef started changing from that, you know, very lean muscle mass. And then they started incorporating grains and different things into their feeds, where now you get into that fatty, like the Black Angus, you know, you fatten them up, you get your select or your no roll select, choice and prime. So as you're going up the grading scale, you're getting the marbling is getting higher, where you're going to get that flavor that we're used to. So a lot of people are, eat grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef is very, very much of the flavor, the terroir of what it's eating. It tastes like the land, and some people really enjoy that. A lot of the products we have are coming up on grass and then getting finished on grains, where in Japanese beef, they're being raised in a very small fashion, grasses, rice straw, post-production mash from grain alcohol, wheat germ, barley, cracked corn. These are some of the diets that they're eating for intramuscular marbling. So what that means is all of the silage that they eat at 5 different energy cycles, basically they're eating rice straw, post-production mash from grain alcohol, wheat germ, barley, cracked corn, and that post-production mash that we talk about from alcohol or anything like that. It could be sake lees, soy lees, it could be beer dregs, anything like that. And that's what caused that fermentation, causes those complex sugars to break down, turn into the fatty acids, oleic acids, and that's all being basically genetically accentuated within that animal. And the Japanese have a very keen way of taking everything that was good and not only making it better or great, but they take it to an art form that is unparalleled on planet Earth. And that is their art, their fashion, their architecture, their calligraphy. It just goes, and their food, of course, it goes on and on and on. So it becomes celebrated, and it is perfection is a religion in Japan.
Yes.
And there's only one way to do things, and it's not just the right way, it's a way. It is the way, and nobody ever really knows the way. That's the beauty of it. It's a martial arts, and it's everything is a martial art, you know, and it's looked at as a philosophy and a being. Japan is a thing. Japan is something I've never seen before. It's one thing that moves like a colony of ants. It moves with purpose, determination, and
very, very unique.
It's definitely I was looking for the word, but it'll come to me. But there is a word for it. You know, go ahead. What were you
There's
saying?
undoubtedly a Japanese word for it.
Oh, but if there's one Japanese word for it, there's like 5 Japanese words for it. But there's one that counts, you know, and it's very poignant that word. We should define that tonight. I'm after this, I'm going to go do some Google craziness and find that word. But yeah, most definitely.
I'm curious, in the animal as an athlete, if it's, let's say you're processing these fatteners and making them intramuscular, as opposed to wrapping fat around your organs, which is kind of what happens to us,
right,
human beings. What does that do to the animal as an athlete? Does it make it sluggish?
So yeah, these animals are definitely not athletic. You know, they're being very well cared for. That goes without saying, but they are definitely not being bred and harvested for athleticism. You know, it's definitely a very they're done on very small production, small lots, and I'm talking like with no more than like 50 to 80 animals, generally steers, right? So castrated bulls. Occasionally there will be the cows will get harvested as well, and it's a very special beef. Japan. It's the mother gyu, so the mother beef, and usually they're at a point where they have and at the end of their useful life as how do I say that? What was I going to say? As
It's
mothers for
funny that
the
you say
cattle,
useful life,
Yes.
because they're not beasts of burden.
No,
They're not plowing
no,
fields.
exactly. So the way that the farmer looks at it, you know what I mean? But they
When you
don't
go to the
dispose.
farm, do you choose the animal?
I do. I have before. So at one point in Yamaguchi Prefecture at Noriaki Nomomoto-san's farm, that we chose two animals. I did the last time I was there too. I think I've chosen animals every time I've gone, but that one notably, it was really cool to just go, and two animals had been selected and one had not, and they had put these prized creatures in front of me, and to be right there facing what you're going to be bringing to the shop in 2 to 3 months is, you're sitting there with this living, breathing creature respectfully and thanking it for this journey it's going to make from these artists in Japan
Yes.
to the plates of San Francisco.
Right. To the artist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a handoff from artist
Yeah.
to artist.
And I have to treat it with the utmost care and respect, and I have to educate our guests on exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, how they're doing it, and how very lucky I am that we have people come and buy this artwork,
Yeah.
that they take home and they consume. I think that feeding people is one of the most, there's a small handful, but it's one of the most intimate things you can do.
Absolutely. I
You're
also want to acknowledge, though, that I've not been on one of these trips with you, but I know that these artists, the farmers, they care for these animals. They develop a relationship with this animal,
yes,
and then in their care for the animal, they've also chosen you
yes,
because they know that you will treat the animal with the respect that their work
Yes.
and the animal deserves.
yes. That's where the pressure comes in. That's when I'm ice cold with this stuff, but it's not lost on me, because when I'm there and I'm doing the meetings and the handshakes and the greetings and working with the farmers and talking with them, we have some very close relationships. I have some very, very close relationships with a lot of wonderful people in Japan and these farms and, our importers and exporters. But to know that 5 years of hard work has gone into one animal, and that one animal is going to command $45,000 to me, right? That's it. Then it comes to me, right? And then I have to turn that into distributing that throughout the shop and
Wow.
what we do, But
So now,
go ahead.
let's talk about your team.
Yes.
Because now you've brought this animal and you've taken this responsibility.
Yes.
And now I think it's appropriate for us to figure out what those ingredients were
Right.
and what that component was that was missing from your
Right.
palate trio
Right.
and why.
It's a really good question. It's as we all know, the food industry is very heavily male dominated, and I've always had, wanted a very diverse staff here in the shop, and women belong in the food industry 100%. And it's very hard in a butcher shop environment. It's just finding women in a butcher shop environment is very, very few and far between.
Yeah, it seems
You'll-
like a masculine
Yes.
environment.
And you will find a lot of women in the harvesting facilities in Japan and the United States. So in the slaughterhouses, I mean, it's, but you won't find it so much on the retail level.
Wow.
And so we've had a great handful of very wonderful women that have worked, and proud to say that I've had them here at the butcher shop. And just this certain individual that's here now, she brings that female energy we need right now into the butcher shop, and she's, injected that in the shop in a way that that definitely serves the other three of us very, very well. And it's not just humbling us, it's more of, we got the right person in the band. Just happens to be a woman, and that's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. We need that, you know, every industry. And I think this is a lot softer industry than people think it is. You know, I think if you have the respect and the love for it, that's what I'm trying to pervade. I'm trying to pervade that, you know?
I think that it doesn't
I like
have
this.
to be, and that's why in a lot of places it's not.
Yeah.
Just like in music, it's easy to gather together a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, of course.
In a garage.
Right.
And play some rock and roll.
Yeah.
I'm in a band with a female singer, and it's not just that she provides a female voice. It's
right.
that the energy and the dynamic.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And all the guys there kind of surround her differently.
Yes.
And we look after each other with a different kind of care.
Yes. Yes.
Because of her presence.
Yes.
So in the butcher shop environment, I think that's not only something you describe as being a necessary thing that you identified, but it's what makes you different.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that you go and source these, this. I can't just say meat. It's your medium.
Yes.
And you source your medium in such a careful way, but then you bring it here and you take responsibility for it differently because you've curated the energy around it.
And it is energy, because this is, you got to remember, I come from that, hippie biker culture of San Francisco, the Bay Area. You know? We could go on and on about that. But, my upbringing, my parents, very sweet, kind, loving, definitely taught me about the value of Mother Nature and, Mother Earth. And we talked a little earlier, the Nasahoya family had taught me a lot about Mother Nature and digging in pretty deep. Spent summer, a few weeks, couple summers out at Second Mesa in Arizona with them. And that was the age of 10, 1980. So it really zapped my head a little bit.
Age of 10.
10, zapped my head, really twisted my head up, really something fierce, changed my life.
Absolutely.
Out in the middle of the desert, we look like this.
Yeah.
And we're with a lot of other, just crazy, you know what I mean? And we were the first white people that had ever stayed in their, abode. And you got to think about the levels and layers of generational, despair and hate towards people that look like me, right? Genocide, 100%. But we cohabitated with each other. These were my dad's best friends, and looking back on it now, the power of that was never lost on me either. But my parents put me into that place, and it was natural because these were our friends. But looking back at it now, what a priceless thing, from a time that's definitely leaving us, the indigenous peoples of the country, which is another thing. You got the buffalo, right? And this country was full of these creatures that sustained us. Their energy, they're from the sun, the grass, the dung that's put out. It's just this regenerative thing, and it's done with reverence. And that's what I was taught by when I ate and I broke bread with these people at the age of 10. Everything was revered, every last piece, every drop of water, every piece of flesh. Some certain things, and you're kind of talking about it and we're strumming some stuff up, but there's stuff I haven't talked about to anybody about, and this is one of those moments that it's coming out for the first time,
Most definitely informs your sense of responsibility, your sense of nurture, and all of these things. And it was probably the most important element to what makes you and your approach so different from everybody else's.
And I'm tired of waste. We live in a very disposable culture. And I think that, elevating or deifying our food, be it a flour, garlic flour that you put on top of a dish, or all the way up to the steak on your plate or special piece of fish or anything like that, is you got to use the whole thing. You got to use everything. That we render all the fat that comes here. You know, we use that in our cooking. We use that. We sell the fat to the guests. I mean, they know that the whole process involves everything from beginning to end. And a lot of people throw the jargon. I don't want to piss anybody off, but the farm to table thing out there. It's really easy to say farm to table, but you have to live it. You have to go to those places. And I'm not saying it's a bad notion, but I think more people need to experience. I'm a butcher, but in the kitchens, you know, really need to experience that. I think that there'll be less waste in the garbage can, but I think that people are very wasteful too. And we live in a beautiful place, and especially here in the Bay Area, California, United States, some people have a lot of money and they don't worry too much about wasting, you know, and they've never been in a situation where maybe there's not enough food at home, you know, or maybe don't know where the next paycheck's going to come and who's going to go shopping. And so there's no humility there when it comes to where their food is coming from or where their next meal is coming from. So I think that's, you know, I bow before my clients, my team members, and these animals like every day. You know what I mean? I'm humbled daily that I get to show up and do this, even when you're personally having a first world problem day like myself. You know, I look around, I laugh, and I go, what I get to do, where I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. The support I get from the organization I work with too, you know, the Omakase restaurant group, my business partners, you know, they allow me to operate, you know, and in a purposeful, artful way. Yeah. And I think that not too many people get to wake up and enjoy what they do every day.
And I want to punctuate that we're talking about waste, and you know what a shame it is that people who have some level of affluence can waste. And yes. The waste itself is a shame. But the other side of that equation that I get from you is that the people who are wasting, they miss out on the gratitude and how that gratitude fills your heart.
Yes. And so perfect is with the guests that walk into this door here, they want to feel the food that they're eating. The people that shop here are from all different walks of life, all kinds of different economic backgrounds, but they want to have a product with a story. They want to nourish themselves with something that they can hold on to and know that's genuine. And if it's disingenuine, I will always tell them, I don't know. I will find the answer. We're going to figure this out together. Yeah. If this isn't working and you've brought something to my attention, we're going to do things differently. Because at the end of the day, it is a business. I have to keep the lights on. I have to take care of the team, you know. I have to pay the vendors, make sure the farmers get paid, right? You know, everybody involved. But at the end of the day, I need to reassure these guests that what they're putting in their mouth is going to only be the best. Yeah. And if it's not the best, we're gonna make sure.
Body and the soul.
Yeah, and that's what they're paying for, and they want that, you know. And they're not overpaying for it, mind you. You know, I'm very fair with our pricing here. Yeah, but yeah,
nourishing the body and the soul.
But these guests that we have are very, very intelligent. My demographics 24 to 42. Yeah, young professionals live in all these units around us, and they really come out, you know, in droves, support us.
College also that the units around us are the most expensive units you can live in the world.
That is correct.
So
that is correct.
There's a level of affluence that allows for that experience where you don't get it all because you waste.
Right.
But that's not what you're selling.
No, and everything is done lean and mean in here. You know, we keep a tight rein on the inventory. That way that, you know, I can constantly bring in the daily drivers, but I'm reintroducing brand new products, brand new farms, exclusive things that only come here, you know, once ever, you know, and that's kind of cool. I've got one of those products here today. Maybe it'll stick, maybe it won't, but it's a product fed in the Hanwoo style. Wagyu originally originated in Korea, as they say, a few thousand years ago. It got to Japan. Don't know the exact story. You'll hear a bunch of different stories, but the Japanese took that Hanwoo beef, and that's what the breed now that we know is Wagyu we associate with. But this particular animal is being fed in the Hanwoo style, more fermented, highly fermented grains and silage, but also it's being raised in Eastern Australia, and it's called El Gro. I'm not quite sure about the name, didn't dig into that too much, but they're eating a very special seagrass / seaweed that reduces the how do you say that, methane emissions, right?
Wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right? So it's that first step into one of the big tackling issues of climate change and all, is that the beef industry has definitely come under scrutiny for the amount of emissions, and so they're tackling this problem firsthand. And I have that beef in the counter today. It's the first time it's hit this side of the water, and it's here today. We're gonna put it out there, just say it was here, see what this company's doing, and go from there, but we're part of it. The guests are digging it, it'll be here for another couple of days because I only got 2 strips. There's just a few steaks left in the counter right now, and I just cut that. So customers get to say they were part of that first, right? I had that first bite. You brought that in. I look at myself as the, modern Cro-Magnon, right? I go out and I hunt, and I do it with respect and reverence, which way the wind's blowing. Don't take too much, right? Take what you need, bring it back. Make sure you bring it all back. And then after that, distribute that to the clan. My clan is San Francisco, that's the way I look at it. These are my people, and people travel also far and wide to come to the shop as well. But that's my tribe. These are, these are the hunters here in the room. That's our job, and these are the people that come and they're coming to eat. They do their stuff in the tribe, in the greater tribe, San Francisco, to then come and we exchange our goods with each other. We're trading shells, trading beads, trading meat, trading monies, trading, electronic transactions, all kinds of stuff.
Also trading stories.
That's what, thank you. There's a lot of knowledge that comes in this room, and it's blows my mind what I don't know every day. You know what I mean?
But also you contribute to a conversation that the other thing that is around here besides affluence, because this is a technology capital, is there's a lot of brain power and a lot of curiosity.
Oh, that's a great word. Curiosity. So many questions.
Yeah.
And when I say so many questions, it's not like, but it's like these young people have so many questions. And I always, assume that they can get any answer they want on the phone, but they want to know it firsthand. And that's what's super cool. Like they're breaking that down. Like the young people that everybody thinks is all tuned into their phones are actually trying to disassociate from that for a minute, because that's what they do all day at work. When they come in here, they can relax. Yeah, they can relax in here for a minute. They can.
There's a little piece
Yes.
of the universe.
Yes.
That exists only here.
Yes.
I need to take, right?
Please do, and I'm gonna have a sip of water.
And then I'm gonna,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
okay. One of these waters is all of a sudden good.
Yeah. You got a full one there for you.
So careful when I walk.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, hey, oh, you and me both, man. You and me both. Cheers
I
to
like
you.
when I go to absolutely when I go to grab something on the table anymore, I just I call it my crane hand. It went slow.
Say that one more time.
I call it my crane hand.
Yes.
I was like,
That's good. I like that. The crane hand.
A little boy kicks in.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Yes.
Reliably spilled shit.
Understood. Trust me.
Yeah.
This is cool.
How long have you been here?
2018. 2018. Yeah.
Do you ever leave it?
Only when we go out of business. You know what I mean?
Such a big hit.
Yeah. I mean, can I tell you something? The restaurant business, the food business, any business in San Francisco is tenuous, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the fact that I could just get to do business in San Francisco is just fucking mind-numbing daily. I mean, it's like I'm doing business in San Francisco. Are you kidding me? While the whole world's just looking at the city and saying what a shithole it is. And it's like, okay, say what you want to say, man. But guess what? You know, we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, we used to run around this town doing odd jobs, like handyman stuff. 'Cause I couldn't get work when I came back from Iraq. And so this whole buildings have changed.
Yes.
Like, they'll go like
This
that.
used to be the San Francisco Ice House. Then they raised the building.
Yeah.
And then it was a parking lot for 10 years. And then they built this building. And then this was a cold shell when I got here, and I did all the construction management with my business partner for
Wow.
these 3 spots. So yeah,
No
Yeah.
kidding.
yeah, it's crazy.
These 3 spots being
So we have
what's over there.
so we have a space that's well, that's the kitchen for the Niku Steakhouse.
Oh, okay.
Niku Steakhouse
And the
is back
steakhouse
here.
itself.
So that's a U shape around us. here.
Wow.
And then there's another restaurant attached that I don't even want to talk about it, but my business
never mind
partners have put 4 failed concepts into, and it just, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, it's just got a bad mojo over there. I don't know. You
Wow.
know? So yeah, he was just asking, you know, about the, you know, just the nature of, you know, businesses in the area. And it's, you know, it's not easy to stay
No,
in
it's
business or anywhere, especially.
Sure. My sound's gonna suck because when I got up to go to the bathroom, I noticed I was unplugged from my pack. Yeah, that's gonna be bad. So,
Tis what it is.
Am I
Yeah.
doing it right? Am I
You're
doing
doing it.
Okay.
you're-
I'm
yeah,
doing it right?
the important part is yours.
No, I want you to be right too. You're asking the questions, man.
Yeah.
You're asking the hard questions. Thanks for your service, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Is my
Um,
American flag on right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Good,
It's however you want.
good, good. You know what I mean. I'm not, it's not about politics. I'm just a good
Yeah.
American. You know what I mean? I just want to be a good fucking
Man,
human being, man.
I
That's
I
it.
just
Just let
want
me
every-
be a fucking
I just want
human
us all to
being.
do that.
Let me be a good fucking person. Let me
Golly.
shake your hand. Let me fucking pull your grandma out of the fucking burning house. Not worry about if I fucking burn myself and go sue you
Yeah,
because I saved your fucking grandma.
you're right.
You piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the shit we deal with in
It
this
is
world,
the shit we
man.
deal with.
People are stupid.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
we have
man.
a friend who I see him post some of the most outlandish shit, and I go, "Come on, man!
Just get off.
I
this
know
shit.
you're a good guy,
Yeah, you're better than that.
and you so much better.
Yeah.
And what are you chirping about?
Yeah.
You know?" And it's
hey,
like, I mean, the good news is, as much shit as he talks, I know if the house is on fire,
Yeah.
he's going to go in there.
he's going to go and
get
grab
whoever.
you.
He's that guy.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
you
like,
want.
why would you betray that by
Yeah.
shooting your mouth off
Yeah.
on it?
Well, the
Like,
thing
ah.
about it is, like right now, especially, it's just a good time to show your actions.
Uh-huh.
Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
2 cents. you
Great
know what I
time for
mean?
that.
Yeah, because you know, just is what it is, man.
Right.
But when
Say the
we're
two
in,
guys in the middle of doing a talk show.
but can I tell you something? We can talk about whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. This is a really good setup. This is
Thanks,
nice job. Yeah, this is a good.
Elegant, it's efficient.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good.
It's still a tent wire now.
What's
that's,
that?
That's true.
I play the symbols like this.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it.
It's all
Hurdy-gurdy man over here, you know?
Yes.
That was good. I was going to get you a washboard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stomach.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Go ahead. We're still
Okay. So I really want to bring this home in a way that allows for us to get to know you and your mission here a
Yeah.
little better. But first thing is, you handed me this rock,
Yeah.
and I've just been holding it
Yeah, it's
and
kinda
wondering
warm.
what it is.
Do you have any idea what that might be? Or?
I don't.
All right. Well, I'm going to do this. You right-handed or left-handed?
Oh, I'm right-handed.
All right. So,
Aha.
so do that.
Okay.
Put it in there. Kind
So
of
this-
choke up on it, right?
Uh-huh.
And then get to the back of you play music.
Uh-huh.
Get the back of your fingers into that rock. Do you feel it?
Uh-huh.
Feel those dimples
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
It just didn't
Got a
happen
nice
that
groove
way.
in there.
It just didn't happen that way.
I see.
Somebody made that 33,000 years ago to cut meat.
Yeah.
That
This
was
is a
from
very
France.
purposeful.
That is from France, and that is from Neanderthal man right there.
Wow.
There were millions of those in that part of the world.
Yeah.
And that's where they flaked those, and so that was used to butcher an animal
Terrific.
33,000 years ago. So
It's serrated.
so all I would have to do is just nap it with a piece of leather on my knee here and a deer antler, and I can sharpen that to a razor edge in 2 seconds. I've chosen not to with that
Yeah.
because it's a artifact, it's a relic, but it reminds me every day that back then it was survival.
Yep.
Right, not just sustenance, but the reverence was always there. That's why when you look at the caves of Lascaux and all these places, even in the deserts of the Midwest, also in Africa, anywhere where there is cattle, the Fertile Crescent, you'll see these etchings in the wall, or cliff in the cliff dwellings, paintings, cave paintings. You'll see sculptures, and you'll also see carvings done in rock, that go back tens of thousands of years, deifying these animals and the hunt. Because if the hunt didn't come back, you're not going to eat.
You didn't survive.
You're not going to
Yeah.
eat.
The tribe didn't
The
survive.
tribe did not survive. I'm not saying that the tribe's not going to survive here in San Francisco if I don't
Yeah.
go out and get these opulent Ferrari creatures. But the notion of the preciousness of life and how precious has always been is what I want to that's the mission that I want to accentuate and convey to our guests, and I'm not here to change the world. It's like Bruce Lee, I just want to drop a pebble in the ocean, maybe a couple ripples will connect with a couple other ripples, like right here, right now.
That's right.
That's how it happens. Why? I don't know, but let's connect and let's figure out how those ripples can intertwine into mine and yours, and what we take away from that, and how that's going to inform the guest experience tomorrow. Our meeting isn't by chance.
No.
You had said that earlier.
Absolutely.
This meeting was going to happen. I was born in 1970. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? This meeting's going to happen. Just took 55 years.
That's right.
Right. That's the kind of person I am. Kind of a weirdo, but that's the way I look at the universe. We're all about 14.5 billion years old is the way I look at it.
That's right. Yes.
And we're all made out of the same stuff. We're all recycled material, and I know it's Carl Sagan saying, but we are stardust. We are made of stardust. And so are these creatures we consume every day, and they are living. They do feel. They definitely have their thought processes. They're not unintelligent by any means, and they have survived this long, not just because they're mindless, because they're mindful.
Yeah.
They have patterns, and they have reason, and they have purpose, and they have emotions, they have families, and
we can't take their nourishment for granted.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
You really need to consider what you're doing, what you're ingesting, and at the end of the day, yeah, you're taking life, but you're taking that life into you. So I don't know. That's has a lot to do with my upbringing and with my parents, and what we did have, and what we didn't have, and the
Yeah.
people that they introduced me to as well. Very respectful. Yeah.
Well, you're a very special kind of artist in not only your medium, the media that you very carefully select, but the way that you treat it, and having this carving tool in my hand really makes me grateful that you live in a day and age where you have these tools that have evolved to allow you to nourish us and tell us a story so much differently, and a story that's so far enhanced. So I'm going to close the show by once again thanking Guy. And if you're in San Francisco, do yourself a favor. Open your mind, open your heart, and relax your taste buds. And come for a journey in the butcher shop by the Niku Steakhouse. And the experience should not only nourish your body, it should nourish your mind, it should nourish your soul. Thanks for doing this with us
It's
today.
an honor. It's a pleasure. And just hearing it put it in those terms summarizes that.
Terrific. Can we do a
Incredible.
follow-up visit? Come back and see you again?
Can you? You're coming back tomorrow, I hope, Thank you so much.
Terrific.